Okay, so thank you very much for joining me tonight, whether you're in the room here at the Launchpad in Douglas or you're joining us online. Thank you very much. So we are here to talk about Echoes of Shadows, which is an audio drama by me and directed by myself. It feels a bit strange standing here because I came up with the concept for this last July. So I'm very proud to be here and to talk about what this is about. So yeah, go on to the next slide.
Oh,
I have to do it. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, just as I mentioned, it's being streamed online tonight. And those of you that are in the room, help yourself to refreshments, and there'll be a Q&A after this presentation. So I'll just play you the trailer.
Can you ever truly escape your past? Connie was never popular in school. She had to lose herself in order to fit in. Now, in her 30s, it doesn't seem as though journalism is for her anymore.
Good morning, Willing Press Associates. How can I help?
Harry, it's Connie Innes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, thanks, apart from the fact that Atlantis seemed to have quite a big news tip-off before us. Again. Any ideas of why that could be?
Isn't that the thing about the soup kitchen closure?
Indeed it is.
Well, I'm sorry, but honestly, I don't know how they got it. We didn't even know about it until this morning.
I know you're lying. I've been listening to your voice for 13 years.
Fia is living in a flat with no food or electricity. She's trying to stop drinking and taking drugs, but it's not easy, especially when it helps her to forget what's happened.
Right, that's it. Get in, please. Now, Fia, please listen to me.
Why should I? All you pigs ever do, you want to make a name for yourselves, seeking out lowly peasants.
Fia, please.
Nope!
If you don't listen to me, you're going to get it about 1,000,000 times worse from whoever interviews you at headquarters, okay?
Can I have a cig?
Connie hasn't seen Fee for nearly 10 years, but when their paths cross again, it's like nothing has changed.
So, who's the current non-famous fella?
Joe. He works at the station too.
Really? God, it must be awkward, especially today.
I know, yeah. He's alright, but he doesn't know about my past.
And yet, their lives have, massively.
I can't take it anymore. This constant feeling of guilt and running away from the past. It's ruining everything. My relationship, my job, my own sanity. If I could find some way of extracting this piece of myself I hate so much, this disease. Because that's ultimately what it is, or what it feels like. It can seem normal, or at least not cause so much destruction and bothering everybody.
Echoes of Shadows, written by Helen McKenna and made possible with the help of the Isle of Man Arts Council, is a 10-part audio drama created to raise awareness for local charities, Isle of Man Food Bank, Motivate Addiction Services, and Victim Support Isle of Man.
So that was just to give you a bit of an insight into the drama itself. So what does this drama explore? As you can probably imagine, the topics are adult. So it's alcohol addiction, mental health, and sexual assault. It focuses on complex relationships. As you overheard, Connie and Fia haven't seen each other for a long time, but they've both been going through a lot during that time period. And ultimately, it talks about collective responsibility, guilt, fate, overcoming difficulties. Ultimately, this story is about friendship and the bond that is shared between the two people that are going through all this strife. The title, I wanted to kind of evoke the shadows of the past, and ultimately the two characters are running away from their past. So I just kind of came up with that title to get that across. This has been inspired by, during my time as a journalist, I spoke to people who ultimately have suffered sexual and domestic abuse, suffered from mental health, or had lost someone to suicide. I've also spoken to the charities which this is raising awareness for during that time, Victim Support, Motivate, and the Food Bank. A couple of articles there that basically kind of stayed with me over time, and I felt they were quite rewarding experiences, meeting these organisations. So as well as professionally, I have lost close friends who have struggled with mental health or addiction. A close friend in particular in 2023 inspired my drive to raise awareness for these important charities. I myself have been sober from alcohol for 3 years. Motivate in particular were there to support me through that. And I just feel a lot better for it. I don't know if it's forever, but certainly with my own anxiety, I feel the benefits of that. So from that personal perspective as well, I've drawn on this. Ultimately, I wanted to create a story which would give people hope, support others going through or who have been through similar. Ultimately, these topics are difficult to talk about, but I feel that the more we talk about it, the easier it can be to help other people and to remove stigma. So I hope that this drama ultimately helps with that. Okay, so the plot. I'll be quiet for a minute.
Connie, are you all right?
Yeah. I'm sorry about earlier. I really am. I just...
Look, it's all right. I knew Philippa cutting the piece was probably not going to go down too well, and I've explained that you put a lot of time and effort into it. So just take the day to cool off, and we'll see you in the morning.
I can make up the time.
Connie, just look after yourself. It's not happened before, and as long as you can guarantee it won't happen again, then it's all fine.
Yes, it definitely won't happen again. I'm really sorry, and sorry to Philippa too.
Philippa's got the rest of the news bulletins covered for today, and it gives her a chance to see how it all works. I'll pass on your apologies to her.
Stan, thank you so much for this.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Can I join you?
Yeah, of course. Sorry about all that.
No, don't be. It sounded like a nightmare.
I shouldn't have walked out though. No matter how much I wasn't happy with the decision, I shouldn't have just walked. But I felt so frustrated for so long there. I think it was just the thing to push me over the edge.
How long have you been there?
8 years.
And have you felt happy there before now?
Yeah. But it's all I've known. I started there from uni, you'll remember, but I've never known anything else. To be honest, I don't know what else I'd do.
Maybe it's life's way of saying to find something else. You're not the same person you were back when you started. Even though I've not seen you for years, I can tell you're unhappy.
You won't be wrong there, Fee. The boss has been weirdly understanding, giving me the day to calm down. I'll face the consequences tomorrow, I guess.
Well, it means you've got an entire day to catch up with me. Lucky you!
Yeah, I guess so.
Friendship. So despite Connie and Fia not seeing each other for so long, it's almost like they've never had any time apart, and they've kind of picked up where they've left.
So they bump into each other at the food bank, and it's set on the fictional island of Willen, which might sound familiar, but it's a fictional island in close proximity to, more so than the Isle of Man, it's closer towards Scotland and the very top of Northern Ireland, in my mind. And this reunion comes at a time when each is going through a very stressful time. And as mentioned, the Echoes of Shadows concept, they're both running away from the past. So characters. Lisa Kreisky plays the main protagonist, Connie Innes. She was going to come in and I was waiting for her to run through the door and kind of talk a little bit more about her character, but she's moving house, so I can give her a bit of slack. But she's a journalist at a local radio station, works very hard and cares about connecting people through storytelling. She's also suffered from childhood sexual assault, which no one knows about. Sensitive to criticism from whoever it is. She's never talked about it openly. She's also diagnosed with a personality disorder when she's receiving therapy, which is in the next 5 episodes. So I've only recorded 5. And yes, so it ultimately follows her journey to overcoming her trauma and growth as an individual. I'm sure Lisa would have liked to have kind of told us more about her experience playing this character, because it's a very complex character. I'm very glad that I know Lisa quite well, because very difficult topics to talk about. So I'm proud of her for taking part. Fia is played by Grania Jochen. She's the primary character after Connie. She's a victim of more recent sexual and physical assault. She suffers from drug dependence, primarily heroin, but because she's got withdrawal symptoms. And again, I just wanted to mention that the charities that I'm raising awareness for through this audio drama, I did a lot of research with them, and would often talk about, like, how would an addict sort of what withdrawal symptoms would they have, naloxone kits, if what happens with those, that kind of thing. So I did my background research for this character. She takes methadone following her rehabilitation in the UK, and sadly smokes illegal cannabis. So she has bipolar disorder, which, again, talking to Grania about this character, very much wanted to kind of like talk it through and make sure, we're doing our due diligence and things like that. So very careful in the delivery of the character. She was also fostered as a child and separated from her siblings. Jo is played by Oliver Sykes. So she's Connie's boyfriend of 4 years, works at the same radio station as Connie, and he is ultimately frustrated because he doesn't know how to deal with Connie's deteriorating behaviour. He doesn't know anything about her past. He's very much, has no idea. He wants to help, doesn't know how. So ultimately this has friction in the relationship. Ollie was actually, for a lot of the 5 episodes that we've recorded, he was at university. I think episode 1, he was here in January, but a lot of his dialogue was actually recorded in Salford because he has access to a microphone, luckily, studying journalism. So that was interesting from that point of view, piecing it all together and things without him actually being physically in the room. So Stan is here tonight, played by Darren Webb. He is Connie's boss at Willen FM, known Connie for years. And I'll let Darren take it away if you'd like to come up and join me. So how did you find this character and playing him?
He's great because he's got that whole aspect of being the friend and the boss. It brings into play the two hat syndrome, where he's got to think about the business predominantly, but he's got such a fondness for Connie that it sort of allows him that ability to be a little bit softer with her, to be a little bit more understanding, and having to not manage her as such, but think of what's best for her, to the point where he's almost saying, like, do you really want to be here? Is this really for you? So he's almost taking the friendship above the being the boss. As well as that, he's just quite a fun character as well. So he's got a lot of interaction. He's juggling many plates. And I can't wait to read the next 5 episodes, if I'm honest with you. So I'm desperate to read those. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Something I've never done before, on a personal level. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But I think, having had some of the topics covered, sort of relevant to myself, seeing them being raised, talked about, and being put into the ether, as it were, is something we've got to do more of. We absolutely have to do more of, because silence is just a killer. You have to make people aware that these things exist, but not just that. You've got to help people. It could just be a single word. It could be starting a charity. It could be anything, but just leaving it in the shadows just doesn't help. And I think something like this just raises the awareness on a sort of a media that might not normally do so. We can all see it online. We can all see it in a newspaper, but having something you can listen to and actually develop an understanding for through the characters that are being portrayed, I think makes it a little bit more realistic, rather than just reading words on a paper. So yeah, it's been amazing to be involved in, and I can't thank Helen enough for asking me.
That's okay. And just before you go and sit down,
Oh, thought I was getting love light there.
So we know each other quite well. We know each other quite well, me and Darren, from theatre. So we've acted in quite a few plays together, haven't we? And I think this was, you say that you've not done audio drama before, and this is my first time directing it and things. So yeah, from that point of view, what was it like, sort of being used to theatre? Because I know for me, it was like, oh, I'm directing people, like, just their voice and trying to get across their emotions without all being visit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And the rehearsing and actually recording, it wasn't all successive, was it? It was like sporadic over the last year. So how did you find that process?
I think I would put it on a par with doing something television-wise, where in a play, you've got a very fixed structure. Everything goes A, B, C, D. When you're doing this, or you're doing theatre, this or television, you might do episode 1, then episode 7, then you come back to episode 4. So there were periods where we were recording episode 4, and we may not necessarily have had the knowledge of what had gone on in episode 2. We might have read it, but not done the scene because of who was available and this, that, and the other. But for me, that was quite nice, because this sounds really horrible, but if you muck up on stage, you're buggered. This always gives you that second shot to improve the performance. You've got that ability to, hang on, that's more emotional than I did it. Can I do it again? Can I start from here? You've got that ability to really fine tune it. So you can give it the right amount of emotion, the right amount of comedy, the right amount of volume. Even volume is such a big thing, especially when it's just the voice. And so, yeah, so as much as it was a very different experience, it was really, really enjoyable. I think the only one we did do For the Fallen, didn't we, on the radio?
Yes.
So that's the only time I've ever done voice only. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, 2018, I think that was, yeah.
Still at school, I was. No, we just did it at the school. But yeah, so it's very, very different. But yeah, looking forward to doing the rest of the episodes.
Of course you are. The story continues. Thanks, Darren. So a lot of, just wanted to say as well, a lot of these characters, the characters I would have had in mind, because I know the actors quite well. So I had in mind, like, oh, that is Jen. Or so yeah, Jen is Naomi Brooks, and she is a vulnerable persons protection officer, known Fia since she was 17. So she's about mid 30s at this point. So she's known her for a long time. Frequently involved in arresting or checking in on Fia for safeguarding concerns. A lot of her dialogue and interactions with Fia, I had to particularly speak to victim support to kind of check, is this okay? Isn't going to even though it's a fictional island and I'm not talking about the Isle of Man, would this process happen in real life? A lot of things were kind of cut in that regard to just be sort of careful. And again, spoke to Jenny at length about like what type of person she is, and she is a good person, Naomi, but is kind of operating at arm's length. So that was interesting from that perspective as well. Kira is played by Larissa Lyons. She's a food bank volunteer, friends with Connie and Fia. Has a lot of time for both of them. Kira's quite sort of happy-go-lucky. It's interesting because Kira was actually going to be a Kieran when I wrote this, but the actor couldn't take part early on in the year. So luckily I know Larissa and the character's Irish, so that helped. Just switched it to a Kira, and it's actually worked quite well. I like the vibe, and I like what Larissa's done with this character. Annabelle is played by Kelly Firth, Connie's best friend, a few years younger than Connie, a lot more successful in sort of career ladder type thing in finance. She's got a quite small-minded view of the world and hasn't really experienced a lot of what Connie or Fia have been through, which does sort of affect the friendship. Not so much in the first 5 episodes, but certainly in the next 5, it'll kind of appear there's like friction going on. And even in episode 5, actually, Annabelle becomes very worried about Connie. Yeah, it'll put a test to their relationship. Other characters, Philippa Henderson is played by Rachel Braidwood. She is the new head of news at Willen FM. And it's interesting because I've not actually worked with Rachel before, but I've seen her on stage, and really, when I was writing the character of Philippa, I was like, Rachel's voice will be perfect. It's just a very well-spoken voice, and yeah, I really like what she's done. She's not her and Connie aren't fond of each other, let's put it that way. PC Colin Woods, and a phone operator, is played by Neil Callan. Him and Jemima Kane, who's also Lola Tucker, who's a food bank volunteer and the operator. Both of these actors are going to be reprising different roles in the next 5 episodes. Yeah, similar to that, Harry Lawrence is played by Neil King. Harry is a press officer who, in the clip, in the trailer that I played at the start, he's trying to make amends with Connie over the phone, and not very successfully doing that. But he will also play a different character in the next 5 episodes. And DJ Greg, who is more of a sort of in the background voice when like you're on location, because when you're thinking about where the setting is, you've got to think what's in the background, and a lot of the radio station has DJ Greg, who's played by Peter Wicks. He's a very well-renowned audio drama actor, and for a lot of adverts and things as well. So I'm really glad that Peter's on board. He does live on the Isle of Man, and he actually had a lot of advice about doing this and recording and things like ambient air, like dead air sort of thing, because even in between like sound effects and dialogue, little things like technical things, he was really, really helpful with that. And he's also a newsreader. So quite a lot of characters. The soundscape and production. So edited with Milestone Media, that he is based in Tramode, James Coyle. He has his own studio it was just one microphone, which picked up. So other actors, like if say there were 3 people in a scene, it would literally just be like 3 points and it would pick up the sound. I don't know what the fancy word for that is, but it did it. Some scenes, as I mentioned before, were recorded with everyone in the scenes there. Others were done separately or remotely. So such as Ollie would send sound bites in and we'd have to piece together, which would take quite a long time sometimes, but needed to be done. And even then, like a lot of the actors on the island, if they couldn't all make one session, yeah, we'd have to piece bits together. We use Logic Pro for editing, and we recorded some sound effects. Others were used with Pexels or YouTube, which a lot were like sort of royalty-free sound effects and that kind of thing. And I'll go on to it in a minute about the music. But yeah, so it took time ultimately to piece this together. We started recording episodes 1 to 4 in January and February. And then because episode 5 was ultimately quite a sort of important arc point in the story, building up to the next 5, that took a bit longer to write, and I'd often redraft. So we started that properly in July and August. And James came up with the piano music at the start and the end of episodes. And I just said to him when I came up, when I put my funding application in for the Arts Council in December last year, I had to kind of go around and see like who can help me do this. And on meeting James, I explained like I really want this like emotional but simplistic music, something that's not overdone. And I think the piano really works because it's just that right emotional touch. So thank you very much, James. Here is a clip from episode 5, which I kind of just wanted to play to sort of go on to the next point, really.
I'm exhausted. I can't tell Joe. I can't. It would destroy him. I can't tell Stan. Because that's just not something you tell your boss. So it looks like I'm just gonna have to live with it. Or not. It'll be the easier option. Ending it now. Like I've been close to doing before. But then I don't want my parents and friends and Joe thinking it was their fault. Asking themselves what they could have done to stop it. I've got to get my shit together. But first I better face the music with Stan and Philippa. Accept that I'm not the journalist I thought I was. I'm too damaged. Too much hassle for them. They need someone cold and able to emotionally shut off from the work. Not me. Someone who cares too much.
Couldn't figure it out, so I'll leave it. Ultimately, episode 5, I think, was, for me as a writer, it was quite emotional, because even though I'm talking about fictional characters and fictional experiences, a lot of that you have to draw on what you know as in the world and, you know, your experience of the world ultimately. So yeah, I think I was quite proud of that episode out of all of them, and I just hope that the next part I'll yeah I'll do as well as I hope. So challenges and solutions. I'd often go back and rewrite the narrative, cutting bits during editing sessions that didn't work or didn't serve a purpose. As I mentioned before, I spoke to charities and did research on various topics that would come up to help create believable and tangible characters. Limited in terms of music, because I really wanted to play some music for it, particularly like there's a scene with a bar, there's a few nightclub sort of flashback scenes, but ultimately James said you're going to have a lot of trouble with that, so had to go with things that weren't copyrighted and weren't recognizable. I'd often have to come away from the writing with a sort of fresh perspective, because I'd just obsess and think, no, I can't write that, or I'd be worrying about it too much. So I'd often have to leave it a few days and come back. And I think I decided to release the 5 next episodes in spring next year, just because I could focus more on it and not feel as rushed. But to give a new sense of, oh, this is a new chapter as well. Like, it's a new year, it's a new season. There is hope at the end of the story from that point of view as well. But so that's where we're at. Illustrations are by local artist Ryan Morrison. And I just, on sort of creating these images, I asked him to sort of, I sent him the story synopsis, and I told him about the characters, and mentioned that because it's quite close to Ireland and Scotland, I kind of wanted, like, similar to an Isle of Man sort of has a culture, I wanted like a bit of a Celtic element, which is, I really like what he's come up with there. And it sort of ties in with the idea of fate as well. A lot of Celtic stories have connotations about fate and myth, and I kind of wanted to have a touch of that in there as well. So he's worked on these 2 images here. So the one on the left is the main podcast audio drama image, and then the one on the right it features Connie, which I kind of wanted to promote for the first 5, and then the next 5 episodes he's going to work on another image of fear. So thank you very much, Ryan. I'm really happy with the artwork. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. You can find out more on the Echoes of Shadows website. The link is there. 5 episodes are streaming as of last Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I didn't know until I clicked go Amazon Music as well, so that's good. Lastly, all donations, if you would like to donate on leaving tonight, it will be split between the charities. This is raising awareness for the Food Bank, Motivate, and Victim Support. And lastly, I just wanted to thank also the Isle of Man Arts Council for granting me the opportunity to do this project. It's saying earlier tonight that it just feels a bit strange talking about it when I just came up with this idea last summer, and now it's an actual thing. So thank you to the Arts Council, and I would definitely encourage anyone who's got an idea, whether it's art, writing, film, music, anything. It's a really we're really privileged here to have this opportunity to apply for funding. So thank you to the Arts Council. Okay, I think I'm done. Any questions? Thank you.
Are we recording next?
When or where? Hopefully January, if I can be okay with the writing and go, no, that's it now. Yeah.
How hard did you find it to say, that's it, that episode is now written and done and I'm going to record it?
It was hard, yeah. I think because I am a bit of a perfectionist as well, I wasn't ever going to be satisfied entirely with the result, but I knew that if I kept rewriting and kept going, no, that doesn't work, I just would have one line. So I just had to kind of let go and sort of think, right, okay, I've read this so many times now. I've asked a few other people as well, like as mentioned, some of the charities have looked at this, particularly the serious parts of the drama. I've got to let it go now. I've just got to hope for the best. And the actors as well, if they had any issues, or if they thought, oh, this doesn't sound right, I'd go, right, okay, let's work on that and just change it. So it was hard, but satisfying at the same time.
So, has this been a bit of a kept secret, or have you had much advertising on the Isle of Man? Because obviously I've only heard about it the last few days, and It sounds pretty. It sounds really good. I'm quite surprised myself what I was coming into. I didn't know I was coming into an audio book or an audio drama, and it's obviously a lot been put into it. But sadly, I haven't seen any advertising for it, and I think it would hit off massively on the Isle of Man.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I've actually just been using mainly like Facebook ads, which I think do go to Instagram as well. But in terms of advertising, I've not really kept it a secret as such. I think because I am aware it's adult content, I didn't want to plaster it absolutely everywhere because they are difficult topics. And I think even the trailer, I've put like an age restriction on it just because sadly, younger people are using social media a lot. And from that point of view, I think I was being more careful in targeting an audience, if you know what I mean. So I've got in touch with the Isle of Man newspapers, did an article, and Energy FM did as well. So in that kind of thing, even though it's not advertising, I was kind of keen to get it out in that Manx Radio as well. Manx Radio did on their Spotlight podcast, we did an interview, and actually Neil, who's one of the characters, has a Manx Theatre podcast. But again, if you're not really like, I can't, so like I see what you're saying. It's not, but I think I was kind of protecting the younger audience, I think, what was my main kind of thinking as well. I don't want to plaster it on posters everywhere. But certainly for the next 5, I think I am going to rethink. I'm going to try and use YouTube and like Reels, like TikTok more and things like that, because video content, I think it is powerful, isn't it? But that's an interesting thing to point out. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I listen to audiobooks every day, so like I'll be downloading it. It's a shame I haven't seen much more advertising about it. Really.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'll be straight onto it. Like I'm listening to it every day. So
thank you.
Excited.
Thanks very much. Sylvie, did you have a?
So your main character is a journalist.
Yes.
And for those of us who are not journalists, it's the first thing people of my generation possibly will read an article, and we truly admire them. And at the same time, we hear that those deadlines are impossible and they have a nightmarish life. Is that why you chose the main character to be a journalist? Or?
I think mainly, as you're aware, I was a journalist. So, but saying that, Connie has worked at this radio station a lot. Like I've worked at a TV, radio, and a newspaper. So it's kind of like a mixed bag that I've experienced. But I guess from the choice with Connie was, I think she's put so much of herself into the work and she's not really got a lot back. She's got a friendship with Stan. She's got a relationship with Joe, but there's just something missing. And I think as she gets more traumatized by her past, it's almost like, as you mentioned, the chaotic experience of work, she can't fully focus because she's almost like put it behind her for so long. And because of the chaos, it's just bringing something out that she can't control. I think because I have experienced the news life, as it were, I think I was able to hopefully create a more believable character as opposed to someone where I've never worked, you know what I mean? So you do have to put a little bit of yourself into a character, I think any character. It's an interesting point to make actually, because I've not really thought about it from that, like the chaos of the character and the chaos in the work. So yeah, it's we'll see what happens.
I'm always fascinated as well how creative people such as you choose their character's name. So Connie Constance, she's constant and fear. Does that mean faith? Does it?
I think it means dear. It means like love or dear in Irish Gaelic. And I was looking at Irish names and really liked hers, so chose that. But with Connie, I like the sound of it, but also Constance, like a constant current, and a lot of the names like Brooks or Woods and the names of the club like Dragon's Cove, it's all got this like very sort of like woodland type element and mythic like island type thing going on. Thank you. Any other questions?
It's a really vague one.
Go for it.
It's like, what's been the most rewarding moment so far of like the whole 5-episode process? Like, what's been really for you? Been like, wow, like, this is so like been so worth it, and like obviously it's a lot of work, and you put so much into it. So like, what? Yeah, is there any specific point where you're like, actually, this is really coming together and this is great? When was that? What was like?
I think I can answer it in two parts. So I think tonight is one. Like, I'm really grateful for all the support that I've received from all the charities and my friends and family and people that are just showing an interest in it, really. So that's really good. Second part, I think like listening back and thinking, oh, I'm proud of that, or I'm glad I changed that, or something. Like when you're writing it, especially the first draft, you're just kind of writing without thinking. I think the result has been, it's quite, it's scary, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, when I've heard how hard the actors have worked on it as well, like I can tell, and I can remember like sitting, for those sessions that we were there, and like a lot of, like Darren mentioned, he's not done audio drama before, and I've not directed audio drama before. I've directed a stage play, but that's completely different. So I think I'm proud of what we've achieved so far, but to be continued to the next 5 episodes. Yes, so the first 5 are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Amazon Music. It is quite a sad one, but I think episode 5, which is like, as I mentioned, like just before it kind of goes into it all. I think that was the one I'd spent the longest time on, and the longest to kind of hardest to let go of, really, because as I mentioned, I didn't record it until the summer. So a part of that was, as I mentioned, worrying like, oh, this doesn't work. But then you've just got to literally go, right, that's it now. Let's just record. Let's just see what happens. So I'd say episode 5 is my favourite. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I've I know where it's going. Yeah, and I've outlined the plot and things. So, but I won't reveal that tonight. Otherwise, you won't listen to it. But there is hope, and there is light amidst all of the dark, which is the point of the story. Really, there is an ultimate. I won't ruin it again. There's really sad moments in the next 5 episodes, but there's also really strong and happy, results. And ultimately, I hope it does help other people and raise awareness for important issues. Okay, is that everyone? Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen, whether you're in the room or online, and thank you very much to the Launchpad as well for helping me make this possible. Thanks for your time. Okay.